meeting, needing to get cleaned up before family comes to town, or just need a little time to yourself, Scissors and Scotch Lincoln delivers sharp style every time. Book now at Scissors and Scotch in Lincoln, just south of 30th and Yankee Hill Road.
93.7 The Ticket is Lincoln's home for Kansas City Royals baseball in 2026. Catch all the action as Bobby Witt Jr., Salvador Perez, Vinny Pasquantino, and a pitching rotation led by Cole Reagans try to lead the Royals back to the postseason. That's Kansas City Royals baseball all summer long. On the air in Lincoln at 93.7 The Ticket.
If you want to make new floor shopping easier, come to O Street Carpet. Hi, I'm Steve Carper. Our flooring professionals can help you choose the best flooring for you, your family, and your budget. We eliminate the confusion. Even better, you'll be enjoying your new flooring much sooner. No 6 or 8 week waits. We'll install right away and save you money on installation. Floor shopping made easy every day at O Street Carpet.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
Hey everyone, this is Austin Orman from Old School with Foreman and Orman, live from 1040 O Street in the heart of downtown Lincoln, weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. My favorite thing about downtown Lincoln has to be the year-round energy. Downtown Lincoln never stops. It's easy to get to, has everything you could need or want in dining, entertainment, and retail, and of course it has Lincoln's best sports talk, proudly located in downtown Lincoln on the corner of 11th and O.
This message is brought to you by the Downtown Lincoln Association and 93.7 The Ticket.
Is your air conditioner ready for the hot weather ahead? Get it checked now before you really need it. Call Bryant now to schedule your spring air conditioning service check. No matter what brand equipment you have, Bryant's trained technicians will thoroughly clean, inspect, and test to make sure it's ready to cool efficiently when hot weather hits. Stay cool and comfortable with air conditioning services from Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. 467-1111 to schedule your AC check. Bryant, whatever it takes.
At DWE Generations, having a plan matters, especially when it comes to protecting what's most important. They work with individuals, families, and business owners to help make smart financial decisions that support life today and set the foundation for generations. David Darlington, Russell Walton, and Cody Eiler bring decades of experience, and their dedicated team provides follow-through, answering questions, explaining next steps, and staying connected as life evolves. DWE Generations, a generational wealth planning firm. DWE Generations is a marketing name for individuals doing business as representatives of Northwestern Mutual. Visit generations.nm.com or call 402-483-7871 and ask for David, Russell, or Cody.
Bauer Underground has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know that the best workers in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and a pedigree of success. They're offering top-notch benefits, a matching 401k, and a $600 per year clothing allowance. Bauer Underground, a family-friendly company with plenty of room for advancement. There are so many realtors in Lincoln and Omaha, but don't get overwhelmed by all the no-names, plus all the different companies. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group at Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Real Estate is your go-to option, whether buying or selling residential, luxury, leasing, investment properties, or commercial property, small or large. Ben's team offers decades of experience, unbeatable customer service, and promises to fully protect your interests throughout the entire transaction. Call 402-419-6309 for all your real estate needs. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group of BHHS Ambassador Real Estate.
Nutrition Authority presents Fusion 30, an ultra premium protein ideal for anyone wanting to look, feel, and perform their best. Fusion 30 can only be found at Nutrition Authority. Stop in today for a free sample, visit with a certified nutritionist, and get better than internet pricing. For store info, visit mynutritionauthority.com.
Gentlemen, are you ready for something beyond the ordinary haircut? At Scissors and Scotch Lincoln, they blend your old school barber feel with your favorite watering hole. Sink into a comfy chair, unwind with a complimentary drink, and let their master barbers handle the rest. It's not just grooming, it's an experience. Whether you're prepping for a big meeting, needing to get cleaned up before family comes to town, or just need a little time to yourself, Scissors and Scotch Lincoln delivers sharp style every time. Book now at Scissors and Scotch in Lincoln, just south of 30th and Yankee Hill Road.
In the Westbeak, the comeback athlete of the year is Rudy Gres.
How about that? 3 hits for Rudy Gres at DH.
The headlines, they can lie. The scoreboard, it can mislead. But Rudy, whether you like it or not, will keep it real. Get your dose of reality during Real Talk with Rudy Gres the Fourth on 93.7 The Ticket.
That is right. You are listening and tuning in to Real Talk with Rudy Gres the Fourth here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. It's been a little bit. I mean, we were here, had a replay going last week, but it's been a little while since it's just been me on here. I think probably been about 3 weeks now. Been traveling, baseball, been all over the place, really. And by all over the place, I mean all over Iowa, unfortunately. But I mean, we'll get into Westland baseball as we keep going. We'll get into a little bit more of just what's kind of been going on with me and kind of been going on with school. Graduating in about 2 weeks, which is awesome. And then we'll get into a little more, of course, baseball, sports, and I mean, just anything we can get our hands on, we'll get our hands on it. Of course, I think right now the biggest stories, the biggest tell-alls will be about the NFL draft. Get into that in a sec. For y'all that don't know, I'm a Packers fan, and I think that's kind of not – I don't think that's uncommon here, at least in Nebraska and the Midwest. I know you run into a lot of Vikings fans, a lot of Chiefs fans here. I think the Packers are in the mix there a tad bit, so it's always fun to see. But, I mean, from my perspective, the NFL draft this year wasn't anything – I don't know. It didn't feel – it didn't feel like years past. I mean, yet last year, I think, had a little more hype to it, had a little more anticipation. This year, I mean, the consensus 1-1 was going to be Mendoza no matter what. I think I have my opinions on Fernando Mendoza as an athlete. I think as a person, means well. Of course, I don't think anything's ever going to be wrong with that kid. I think he's the type of player, if I'm a coach, I'm a franchise, you want a guy like that that's going to answer the questions the best way possible. You want the guy that's going to be Mendoza in front of the cameras and thanking all thanks and giving the praise to everybody and kind of just never answering a question wrong. And I think there's nothing wrong with that by any means. But I think at times it does come off a little, not fake, because I know that's got to be how that dude is behind closed doors. But I mean, it's just, I want my quarterbacks to be a little mean sometimes. I want them to have a little edge to them. And not that he doesn't, because obviously you take an undefeated Indiana of all schools. You take them, you go undefeated, you win a national championship, you win the Heisman. Like, he did everything right, and it's not even a talent thing, and I think he's talented. But I just don't know. I mean, he's getting player comps to Joe Burrow, and like, you can from certain lenses you can see that. From certain perspectives it makes sense. I mean, to an extent, but I just think he's a safe quarterback, and there's nothing wrong with that. I think nobody else should have gone first, especially if you're the Raiders. That is the pick you need to make, and the pick that nobody expected you to mess up, and they didn't. But I want to be wrong about him, and there's guys like that every year for me. I mean, one that I said with my buddies before I had my show, I thought J.J. McCarthy wasn't going to be that guy. I said it's a stretch. It's not something that I think is going to be not working out, but it's just not. He didn't have it. I looked at him. Yes, talented. Same. I think Mendoza's better, but I think same construct to who they are as athletes and their collegiate careers. You go out there. I mean, he didn't win the Heisman, but undefeated year. You win an Natty. You do it. Like, you check off all the boxes almost. And it's great. You're a great college quarterback. But there's just some guys that don't translate. And I'm not saying Mendoza won't. I think it might take him a little bit just because, one, the team he's on. Two, I just think his play style is going to have to be – his style to me is one that is – it can work if it's built around. And I think they have the pieces in Oakland, at least offensively as of right now almost. I think they have work to do. I think you still got to build that line. You got to do what you can. But you have a generational running back in Genty. You have a generational tight end in Bowers, and that's awesome. That's great. But we see it with so many teams. I mean, I know I'll get some flack for bringing the name up, but with Shador Sanders, I think when he came here to Memorial, we all saw it was you give guys time to do something, they'll pick you apart. And I think Mendoza won't necessarily have the killer instinct to pick you apart per se, but he's going to make the right plays. He's going to make the safe plays that get you the end zones. He's going to make the plays that get you to where you got to be. And there's nothing wrong with that. I just think his situation is also just not great. But I mean, I think he'll make the most out of it. And I'm not saying he's not going to, I don't think he's going to be a bust by any means. I just think it's a draft class that I just wasn't particularly excited for. And I think if Dante Moore decides to leave Oregon, and I think if he decides to say, yeah, I'm out of here, the hype is as high as it can possibly be, maybe it gets higher this year. Maybe he goes out there and wins a Heisman. And I mean, I just, maybe you just don't want to be a Jet. And maybe that's what it is. But I think with Dante Moore staying in college for an extra year at Oregon over there with Dylan Raiola, I think that kind of, at least the 1 or 2 pick, we saw it last year. It's like that hype was there. And I mean, until it wasn't and Shador slid. But it would have been nice. It'd have been nice to have some anticipation into it. I mean, you knew who was going 1-1. I mean, at the 2, you got David Bailey from Texas Tech. I'm big on that guy. The Cardinals, for some, I mean, yeah, you need offensive production if you're the Arizona Cardinals. I just don't know. I think they had bigger needs, but at the end of the day, like I think they're in a situation at that 3 spot. You got to take best available, and they did. And I mean, they're just at a weird spot right now. Don't really got much going for him if you're Arizona. So hopefully he does figure it out there and can kind of maybe carry them. But it's the NFL now; it's not guaranteed. But I do think, from my perspective, I think Jeremiah Love is a top running back for a reason. Already the highest paid before taking an NFL snap. I think I had him above Agency in terms of skills and assets and what can be done. I think it was one of those things that he kind of he does a lot, and it's not just he's a power back or it's like no he can do it all. That is one of the most agile running backs I think I've seen with that speed and that strength. You look at some of these highlights, he's trucking dudes like he's Derrick Henry. Obviously, that's not going to be every single time like Derrick Henry, but to have that type of strength on plays and to be able to knock dudes off you and keep going with that speed, I think that combo is deadly. It's just unfortunate it's going to be in Arizona. I mean, one of my best buddies is a Titans fan. They had the 4th pick. You take Carnell Tate. And if y'all were watching one of the secondary broadcasts, Malik Neighbors, wide receiver for the Giants from LSU, he went on to say that he's not sure how he feels about this because he was a 2 at Ohio State, which if it's any other school, maybe even if it's any other year at Ohio State, yeah, that's a fair assessment. He's behind Jeremiah Smith. Like, I think Carnell Tate is a very talented wide receiver. I think he, like you're behind a generational wide receiver who's going to be the 1-1, if not a top 3 pick easily next year. And I think that argument's kind of dead right now. But I think the best fit for Jeremiah Love probably would have been Tennessee, to be over there with Cam Ward, kind of built that young core. But I mean, he'll have Carnell Tate. Nothing wrong with that by any means. He'll have another guy that's out there. Calvin Ridley's not really the production you need. Like, the production from the wide receivers has nothing to do, I think, with Cam Ward. It's more of just there's a lack of that elite talent in that wide receiver room, and maybe Carnell Tate can bump that up, and I hope he does. But we'll see. The Giants going on another early top 5 pick here for a defensive player. They go Arvell Reese, Ohio State linebacker. And don't worry, I won't go all picks here. Maybe I will. Who knows? But I think that's a great pick. You see it every year. You saw Thibodeau, you saw Abdul Carter. They go so high on these defensive guys, and that's not a bad thing by any means. But it just hasn't panned out there yet. It hasn't. And I don't know if that's a development thing. I don't know if it's a talent thing and they're lacking the talent picks, but it's just, you kind of get this deja vu of just, they took another defensive player in the top 5, top 10. And I mean, I get it. You got Jackson Dart already. You're good there. You got Scat coming off that injury. Of course, not going to be anything easy to come back from. But I mean, with his tenacity and his toughness, let's be real, he'll be fine. He'll be running at dudes with his head out again. He'll be all right. But I don't know. I mean, Jordan Tyson probably would have been a good pickup there. You take at least some of that attention out of Malik Neighbors, and you're good there. But again, not a horrible pick by any means. Arvell Reese is extremely talented. That's just, I don't know if that's what the Giants necessarily needed. I mean, he's getting player comps to Abdul Carter, which, I mean, again, there's a reason Abdul Carter went as high as he did, but it's like, I don't know. I mean, right here, the post-draft analysis I'm reading from the NFL Draft website. After a surprising pick at number 4 with the running back Jeremiah Love, the Giants make their own surprise pick with Reese. And again, surprise picks are never an issue. I mean, we saw some that work out, some that don't. But I just, the way I see it is kind of, if it's a surprise pick, I'm not sure that I'm thrilled about it. But it's the draft. Like, at the end of the day, the draft's going to draft, and it is what it is. And it's awesome. So, again, I want it to work. I never want the draft. I never want players to be losers. I want teams to be wrong. I want teams to say, yeah, we had a talented linebacker, but we're averaging 14 points a game. We're only scoring 2 touchdowns right now. Like, if the defense can hold its own, then that's great. But see where we go from there. The Chiefs trade up for Delane, DB from LSU. I mean, I think he's great. That's another one. Not surprise pick either. It's just one that kind of, I mean, the attention around him was starting to build up after meetings and everything, and that's great. But, I mean, the Chiefs also picked up Emmett Johnson, which I think they got him later than anticipated. You got him at you're going to get him at a cheaper price. You're going to have a power back now, and I think it's a great pickup. I think that combo they'll have over there in Kansas, it'll be a good one. You'll use him on more of those shorter yardage plays, which I think it'll be a good fit for him. I think we all know that he's not the biggest dude. I think his breakaway speed can get a little better. I think he's a fast running back, but I think his breakaway speed, we saw it here at Memorial. We saw it on the road at times that it wasn't an issue, but there were some plays that you're like, yeah, like those top running backs, they get away there. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, you're playing football in Nebraska in 20 degrees. I understand that. So you live, you learn, you take it. I'm cool with it. Sonny Styles, linebacker, Ohio State to Washington. I think that's a great pickup. I saw him going a little earlier, truly, but again, great pickup for the Commanders. I think he's one of the more talented, that's all that you were hearing on draft night was just how much of an athletic freak this guy is, and that's great. I mean, he's 6'5", 244. Yeah, like that's going to play no matter what team you're on, and I'm excited for him. I want the Commanders to be good. I mean, Jane Daniels, sophomore slump, call it what you want, injury, all this, that, the third. I think everything's going to pan out there. I mean, they'll be back to where they are. Jordan Tyson, wide receiver, Arizona State. Player comps to George Pickens, who I'm big on. Not a Cowboys fan. Don't get that wrong. Huge George Pickens guy. I mean, really, really talented. And I don't know if I'm in on Shug or not. I'm really not, Tyler. I'm not. I don't know if I'm big on the Saints quarterback situation, but we say it here at the studio. We talked about it so much, talked about it with my buddies, talked about it online, talked about it in the forums I'm in. And this was such a lackadaisical quarterback draft, right? Like no one's second guessing that. And then you skip up a couple. Cleveland Browns take Spencer Fano, offensive tackle from Utah. Amazing pickup there. I think that's the direction I think we got to go here. If you are the Browns, I think Shador's your QB1. No question about it. I think he's talented. I think he won them games. I think the coaching switch ups there is going to work. I'm excited to see what the Browns do. I am a Shador Sanders fan. I own a jersey. I own a vintage number 12 jersey. He just changed to number 2. But I think they're making the right moves there. I think he's an elite tackle, and I think it'll be a good pickup for him. I think you built around it. They had some other later round picks that are going to be good. They had some wide receivers. Again, we'll see those at the end of this round draft. Offensive tackle from Miami, Francis. Am I going to say this name? Probably not. Amazing pickup for the Giants. That's what I wanted to see. I don't think there was a tackle worth taking higher than the 9-10 spot like that. Like I wouldn't. They're not taking him at what 5? Is that what we said? Yeah, they're not taking him at 5, so that's amazing. But great pickup there. I think it's a great fit for what they're needing there. I think we've biggest steal of the draft, I'll say. I think the Dallas Cowboys picking up Caleb Downs at 11. 11. I think that's great. I think you saw him slip in there, which was, I'm not sure why. I mean maybe I just had him a little overvalued. I had him going around that 7 to 9 spot, but I think that's a great pickup for Dallas. I think the defense needs to improve drastically there. We've seen that. And like that is, I'm looking at these comps here. I mean, Budda Baker comp 5'11", 206. Like this dude's going to get you some speed with that mix of power. He is a playmaker. He's going to get it done. I think it's a great pickup. Caden Proctor goes to the Miami Dolphins. No comment there. The biggest, I think probably what we'll finish off on here, the biggest surprise, the biggest talked about, the biggest viral pick, I'll say, Ty Simpson drafted 13th to the Los Angeles Rams, which, I mean, the way I'm looking at it from certain lenses, because I'm trying to make sense of everything here, that's kind of my, my mind. You gotta do it, I guess. But yeah, like Matthew Stafford coming off an amazing year for rightful reasons, accolades and all. We know this. And like I mean, there's rumors and there's talks that they're looking to kind of extend him a little bit, a couple years. And Sean McVay didn't look too thrilled. He said it too. It's going to be a battle between him and Stetson Bennett. And that's great for a battle for a backup. But at the 13 spot, I mean, yeah, like once you get past this, there's like Ruben Bain's on the board. Ruben Bain got drafted 2 picks later. I think Ruben Bain's elite. Oh my God, small arms. That's probably one of the craziest. Yeah, I get it. Like, I get it. It makes sense. You're looking at every analytical data point, every physical attribute. And yeah, okay, size matters there. But I don't know. I mean, even Kenyon Sadiq, I think that dude, he ran a 4.39 40. Like, again, numbers and combines can always be deceiving. But Ty Simpson, in no mind of mine at least, did I see anything there. I'll find the stat after this first break we'll take. But there was a stat that said that I want to say he was probably he had the least amount of starts from a player drafted top something. And I want to say it was either the first round, might have been probably not first round, might have been top 15, whatever it was. I'll find the stat. We'll get into that a little bit more. Maybe talk about some bigger draft picks that happened throughout the second day, second rounds, third rounds, all this and that. And then, of course, we'll talk about everybody's favorite quarterback, Diego Pavia. Talk about how he's going to go undrafted. Talk about what's the reason? Is it an attitude thing? Is it a height thing? Is it a skill thing? Is it this, that, and the third? Who knows? Am I a fan of Diego Pavia? I'll be straight up. Not necessarily. I have nothing. I think he's a talented quarterback. But like in similar comparisons, you're a good college quarterback. You had a good scheme there. You were at Vanderbilt. You were able to play your own style of ball. But I just... Heisman finalist, runner-up, going undrafted. For what reasons? We'll get into that after this first break. Keep it tuned right here to 93.7 The Ticket. You are listening to Real Talk with Rudy Gres IV. And once again, keep it tuned to 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Nutrition Authority presents Fusion 30, an ultra-premium protein ideal for anyone wanting to look, feel, and perform their best. Fusion 30 can only be found at Nutrition Authority. Stop in today for a free sample, visit with a certified nutritionist, and get better than internet pricing. For store info, visit mynutritionauthority.com.
Gentlemen, are you ready for something beyond the ordinary haircut? At Scissors and Scotch Lincoln, they blend your old-school barber feel with your favorite watering hole. Sink into a comfy chair, unwind with a complimentary drink, and let their master barbers handle the rest. It's not just grooming, it's an experience. Whether you're prepping for a big meeting, needing to get cleaned up before family comes to town, or just need a little time to yourself, Scissors and Scotch Lincoln delivers sharp style every time. Book now at Scissors and Scotch in Lincoln, just south of 30th and Yankee Hill Road.
93.7 The Ticket is Lincoln's home for Kansas City Royals baseball in 2026. Catch all the action as Bobby Witt Jr., Salvador Perez, Vinny Pasquantino, And a pitching rotation led by Cole Reagans try to lead the Royals back to the postseason. That's Kansas City Royals baseball all summer long. On the air in Lincoln at 93.7 The Ticket.
If you want to make new floor shopping easier, come to O Street Carpet. Hi, I'm Steve Carper. Our flooring professionals can help you choose the best flooring for you, your family, and your budget. We eliminate the confusion. Even better, you'll be enjoying your new flooring much sooner. No 6 or 8 week waits. We'll install right away and save you money on installation. Floor shopping made easy every day at O Street Carpet.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
Hey everyone, this is Austin Orman from Old School with Foreman and Orman, live from 1040 O Street in the heart of downtown Lincoln, weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. My favorite thing about downtown Lincoln has to be the year-round energy. Downtown Lincoln never stops. It's easy to get to, has everything you could need or want in dining, entertainment, and retail, and of course it has Lincoln's best sports talk, proudly located in downtown Lincoln on the corner of 11th and O.
This message is brought to you by the Downtown Lincoln Association and 93.7 The Ticket.
Is your air conditioner ready for the hot weather ahead? Get it checked now before you really need it. Call Bryant now to schedule your spring air conditioning service check. No matter what brand equipment you have, Bryant's trained technicians will thoroughly clean, inspect, and test to make sure it's ready to cool efficiently when hot weather hits. Stay cool and comfortable with air conditioning services from Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. 467-1111 to schedule your AC check. Bryant, whatever it takes.
At DWE Generations, having a plan matters, especially when it comes to protecting what's most important. They work with individuals, families, and business owners to help make smart financial decisions that support life today and set the foundation for generations. David Darlington, Russell Walton, and Cody Eiler bring decades of experience, and their dedicated team provides follow-through, answering questions, explaining next steps, and staying connected as life evolves. DWE Generations, a generational wealth planning firm. DWE Generations is a marketing name for individuals doing business as representatives of Northwestern Mutual. Visit generations.nm.com or call 402-483-7871 and ask for David, Russell, or Cody.
Bauer Underground has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know that the best workers in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and a pedigree of success. They're offering top-notch benefits, a matching 401k, and a $600 per year clothing allowance. Bauer Underground, a family-friendly company with plenty of room for advancement. There are so many realtors in Lincoln and Omaha, but don't get overwhelmed by all the no-names, plus all the different companies. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group at Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Real Estate is your go-to option, whether buying or selling residential, luxury, leasing, investment properties, or commercial property, small or large. Ben's team offers decades of experience, unbeatable customer service, and promises to fully protect your interests throughout the entire transaction. Call 402-419-6309 for all your real estate needs. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group of BHHS Ambassador Real Estate.
Nutrition Authority presents Fusion 30, an ultra premium protein ideal for anyone wanting to look, feel, and perform their best. Fusion 30 can only be found at Nutrition Authority. Stop in today for a free sample, visit with a certified nutritionist, and get better than internet pricing. For store info, visit mynutritionauthority.com.
Gentlemen, are you ready for something beyond the ordinary haircut? At Scissors and Scotch Lincoln, they blend your old school barber feel with your favorite watering hole. Sink into a comfy chair, unwind with a complimentary drink, and let their master barbers handle the rest. It's not just grooming, it's an experience. Whether you're prepping for a big meeting, needing to get cleaned up before family comes to town, or just need a little time to yourself, Scissors and Scotch Lincoln delivers sharp style every time. Book now at Scissors and Scotch in Lincoln, just south of 30th and Yankee Hill Road.
Now back to Real Talk with Rudy Gres IV on 93.7 The Ticket.
That is right. Welcome back to Real Talk with Rudy Gres IV here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. During break, decided to obviously check in on the San Antonio Spurs as it is NBA playoffs season time. You know what I mean. Either way, I mean, it's hard to not. I just think every discussion, every dialogue around basketball right now is kind of going all the same. It's kind of all in the same. Everything's getting talked about right now is just free throws and fouls, and I don't think that's wrong. I don't think it's. I mean, last year the whole SGA thing was up there, and I was one. I clearly remember trying to aggravate some of my buddies, and I was like, oh no, that like, hey, at the end of the day, he's getting points for his team, and on one hand, they are. On one hand, it's the same as getting a bloop base hit to right field. You're getting on base. It's the same as a 4-pitch walk, whether it's right or not. It's the same as crowding the plate and getting hit in the elbow. Hey, we got a runner on base. It's the same as kicking a field goal just to take your points. Maybe not the field goal. That was a little stretch. But, wow. At the end of the day, I just think now, yes, free throws matter. Yes, getting to the line is important. Yes, those are free points. Free for a reason. It is so unethical. It is. You're watching guys. You're watching just guys aren't trying to score on some of these plays. They're going up. They're launching themselves at defenders, knowing that 9 out of 10 times you're going to get that call. Knowing that, oh well, I'm in the right spot. Now it's just not. It's not fun. And I think that's why a lot of these teams become villains. I think that's why the Thunder are starting to become hated. I think that is why the Portland Trail Blazers have some players that it's like you're good athletes. You're in the NBA for a reason. And I understand. If I could hit a bloop single to right field every time for a base hit, I would. But at the end of the day, I think it is just it's lazy. It's not impressive. And it's just, I'm trying to find a word for it in all of this, but it just doesn't make sense. I think the NBA is going in such a way where it just doesn't. It's not entertaining when you're seeing teams doing this so much. And I think that's why some teams stand out. I think it's a perfect segue to talk about my GOAT, my king, LeBron James. If you're talking about the Lakers, like I think the Lakers, I think the Spurs, I think 90% of the Trailblazers. I just think the Timberwolves. There's teams out here that are playing basketball, and I don't want to say that every team in the NBA is like the Oklahoma City Thunder / SGA, but it doesn't make sense to me how so many of these guys can get away with it, and how, like, I mean, a couple years ago, yeah, the biggest dude doing it was James Harden. I mean, we all saw that the jumping into the shots was kind of his thing for a couple years, just his thing, and then the league started like, oh well, I can get away with it. And it's just, it keeps going and it cycles and it keeps going and going and going. Everyone starts doing it because there's nothing that's going to happen. Nothing's going to change. And here we are. You got guys getting texts over plays that don't make sense. And it's draining to watch as a fan. It is not fun. And it's just, again, I use the word again, unethical. It is just basketball that is not played at the way you expect professional athletes to be playing basketball. It's cheap. I think it's soft. But at the end of the day, if it's my team doing it, I understand, and that's the part that that's the part that is the troublesome, the confliction there. Back to the draft here. Sorry to be jumping all over. We got a text from the YouTube text line here. Most likely drafted wide receiver to crash out like Antonio Brown. I'll say that let's refer to the crash out and all the nonsense that happened while he was in the league. Nothing after. I think that is such a crazy question. And I'm not going to say anyone's going to be a crash out, but I do think that there's some players now, and I think this is more of I think we're starting to see, and I talked about it earlier, how Mendoza doesn't have that dog to him. He doesn't have that. You don't got that screw loose, and you don't necessarily need that as a quarterback. I mean, we know that. I just think so many more players with the egos that are being built, the money that's involved, things that are just kind of boosting their personas and becoming athletes that are kind of larger than life. I don't think crash out's the right word. I think you got guys that have a little more personality now, guys who are they're feeding into this a little more now. The personas are there. You got the scats going crazy, the scatabos. You got just, I mean, I think we have more divas that are going to come into the league, and I think divas aren't bad necessarily. I think divas want the ball. Divas want to score. But I don't know. I feel like this draft class was pretty safe in terms of wild in and out. So I'm excited. I think there's some players in this thing in the draft that got drafted that I think can be potential. Obviously, they're all going to be playmakers, I'd hope. But more so of a, I'm excited to see just how much of an impact they can have as rookies. And right now the Spurs are down 40-28. But I'm hoping, I think you're kind of seeing it around baseball too. There's so much of, I mean, everyone knows baseball's been the longest and hardest sport to get into from the pro level once you get drafted. You got to go through sometimes single A, you got to go sometimes double A, triple A. Nobody necessarily goes straight to the league. And Portland Trailblazers are just dumping threes off left and right now. But with that being said, I think that like that in the MLB, that development process is so much sped up now, so much more sped up now. I think Paul Skeens probably had a handful of starts just to get accurate, adjusted. We'll just say the safe word. Has to get adjusted to the league. Yeah, and that's going to happen. But you draft these guys in the NFL, and yeah, you know the top 5 will probably be starting no matter what. The top 10 will. Like the entirety of the first round should be starting. But I think now you're running into more of, okay, these guys are coming in to realistically save the franchise, realistically put this team on a different trajectory than what is happening. And I don't think that's anything crazy. It's not something that hasn't been a thing before. But I think right now you're starting to see the draft become more than just, oh, we need these pieces, and now just, hey, we need a savior. And I don't think I don't think it's wrong. I just think right now we're running into so much more of just, I mean, you saw it with Baker. You saw it with, excuse me, Darnold. You see with these guys that are put in these situations where, hey, if you're not that guy year 1, I don't know what we're going to do with you. Year 2, I don't know. And then they move around. You see the situation, what was the issue. It wasn't them. They're talented for a reason. I think the draft puts us in such of a predicament that we have to have the results right away. And I don't know when the league started doing that, but I understand. I mean, it is what it is. I don't know. It's very unfortunate. You're drafted as a kid out of college. I mean, these kids aren't just kids anymore, but it is what it is. But got a question here. YouTube text line. Top 3 teams you think won the draft? Again, I'm a little biased. I want to go no particular order. I'm looking here. I really think the Browns had a really solid draft from top to bottom. I think you take Spencer Fano, offensive tackle from Utah, one of the best lines in the country, one of the best rushing games in the country. You add a piece to your offensive line there. I'm not huge on the KC Concepcion pick from Texas A&M. I'm really not. I think he, excuse me. I was looking at highlights, and I think he's going to be a glorified slot. And there's nothing necessarily wrong with that, but you're taking that at 24 in the first round. It is what it is. They ended up signing another wide receiver second round who I think is just as solid, not a little better, actually. But I like the wide receiver pickup there. You got Denzel Boston from Washington, who I think is a good second round pickup there. I think they built the offensive line a little bit more, too. They got a center from Bama. They got the other Jay Jettas, Justin Jefferson, linebacker from Bama. I think they had a good roundup, honestly. Cowboys are up here. Realistically, they built that defense so well off of this draft. And if you're a Cowboys fan, you know that that's a big primary need. I made a joke in one of the group chats I'm in, though. I said, what a great pick for the Cowboys. If Caleb Downs can play a couple snaps at quarterback, that might be good. But, I mean, they took out of their 7 picks, 5 of them were defensive picks. And I mean, that is what the Cowboys needed. That is what is going to get them to be better. That is what is going to improve their team. And that should clean up and plug some of those holes that they've been having. I mean, you take Malachi Lawrence, who I think was a great pickup as well from UCF. Take a wide receiver very, very late. I mean, I like what they're doing there. They got the Raiders as an A here. Let me just take a gander. Obviously, you're cool with Mendoza. I'm not a huge Trey Zoon guy from A&M, but they did get Jermod McCoy, DB from Tennessee, in the 4th round. which I was talking with my buddy and his father. I don't know how he slipped a little bit too much that low, but great pickup, truly. The Eagles, I do think the Eagles got one of the better late round picks here in Mekhi Lemon. I love that. I think that is a guy that you probably take if you're higher up in that draft. Maybe not anywhere near like the top of the tippity top there, but you get the vibes. I'm understanding there. I don't know. I want to see. I'm gonna scroll here. I'm on ESPN right now trying to see who might have had the worst draft. Um, Worst draft here. They got the 49ers. Shout out to my uncle. Yeah. I mean, kind of looks like they drafted just because they had to. But hey, it is what it is. A lot of season left. I mean, you'll be all right. I think the Dolphins had a sleeper round, sleeper pick, sleeper draft, I'd say. Let me find them. They did, for some odd reason, become the Miami Longhorns. Took a lot of Texas Longhorns in the draft to cope or to add with the greatest college quarterback in Quinn Ewers. But they picked up, we'll go through it here. You picked up Caden Proctor, who I'm iffy on in terms of what I think he can truly become. But that's a good pickup, regardless if he can pan out. Take a DB from San Diego State. You got Jacob Rodriguez from Texas Tech, which in the second round at pick 43, huge pickup for them. I love that for him. Take Caleb Douglas, wide receiver from Tech. Jump around a little bit more. You get Trey Moore, edge from Texas, who I love that pick for him. I think he's so explosive. That Miami Dolphin defense should be improving drastically. And then you also pick up Michael Taft. I like it. I think he is a guy that probably has a little more heart than he has the talent. And that's not to discredit his talent by any means. But I think he is someone that you're going to get more out of him as a athlete who just gives it their all than the immediate impact. So I think we might wait a couple. You won't see him immediately on that field. You might not see him making the impact he needs to right off the rip. But that's a good pickup for him. I like their draft. Tennessee Titans here got a C+. I think the Carnell Tate pick was good. I think it's probably going to be overshadowed just because a lot of people aren't huge on that pick, and that's okay. But then you pick up Falk, an edge from Auburn. I like that. They got back in there for him, so that's interesting. But day 2, they picked up Anthony Hill Jr., Longhorn, who the big talk about is he didn't have that great of a year last year, but he is still a top SEC talent. Sophomore year was great. Junior year slumped a little bit, and it is what it is. You'll take it. I mean, I think he had some injuries in there as well. I like it. I mean, he'll be a backup for a bit. I mean, that's okay. You take him in the second round. I mean, he'll pan out, though. I'm very solid with that one. So it is what it is. Next question here. Thoughts on the Cardinals taking Love after signing Tyler Algier? I think that was one of my bigger, not questions just outright, but in the same realm of why. Like, I want to say that not ruin the entire draft for him, because it's hard to do that off of one pick. But I mean, you got who I think will be one of the best running backs in the league if things pan out. But it's not something, like I said, where this guy is going to come in there and just make things. You're not going to be better as the Arizona Cardinals because of this. You're not going to be. It's not a make or break for you. It's Jeremiah Love. You take him because he's there, and he's arguably one of the best athletes in the draft, and he's going to pan out. I truly believe it. He's someone that, yes, the line is going to matter. It's never not going to matter with running backs. I think he's someone that can make it happen on his own. He seems like an improviser as a back, and that's great. He can make plays out of nothing, as a lot of these guys can. But I mean, here they got the Cardinals with a B-, or just a B, not even a B-. They take Carson Beck. I think that's the bigger question here. I mean, Carson Beck has the most wins out of an FBS quarterback, sorry. And you take Carson Beck, that's a interesting roundup they got there, but I don't know. I mean, it did make them better. They have more offensive star power. Now you got Marv, you got Caleb Proctor, DT from Southeastern Louisiana. I don't know how they came to a B there. I'm not being a hater. I'm just not being a positive outlook on their draft. I think I think it'll pan out if they could move from this after this year, kind of keep the talent around and then go from there. With that being said, we will be entering our second break here. Might be a little shorter. Be back here. You are listening to Real Talk with Rudy Gres IV here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Nutrition Authority presents Fusion 30, an ultra premium protein ideal for anyone wanting to look, feel, and perform their best. Fusion 30 can only be found at Nutrition Authority. Stop in today for a free sample, visit with a certified nutritionist, and get better than internet pricing. For store info, visit mynutritionauthority.com.
Gentlemen, are you ready for something beyond the ordinary haircut? At Scissors and Scotch Lincoln, they blend your old school barber feel with your favorite watering hole. Sink into a comfy chair, unwind with a complimentary drink, and let their master barbers handle the rest. It's not just grooming, it's an experience. Whether you're prepping for a big meeting, needing to get cleaned up before family comes to town, or just need a little time to yourself, Scissors and Scotch Lincoln delivers sharp style every time. Book now at Scissors and Scotch in Lincoln, just south of 30th and Yankee Hill Road.
93.7 The Ticket is Lincoln's home for Kansas City Royals baseball in 2026. Catch all the action as Bobby Witt Jr., Salvador Perez, Vinny Pasquantino, and a pitching rotation led by Cole Reagans try to lead the Royals back to the postseason. That's Kansas City Royals baseball all summer long. On the air in Lincoln at 93.7 The Ticket.
If you want to make new floor shopping easier, come to O Street Carpet. Hi, I'm Steve Carper. Our flooring professionals can help you choose the best flooring for you, your family, and your budget. We eliminate the confusion. Even better, you'll be enjoying your new flooring much sooner. No 6 or 8 week waits. We'll install right away and save you money on installation. Floor shopping made easy every day at O Street Carpet.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
Hey everyone, this is Austin Orman from Old School with Foreman and Orman, live from 1040 O Street in the heart of downtown Lincoln, weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. My favorite thing about downtown Lincoln has to be the year-round energy. Downtown Lincoln never stops. It's easy to get to, has everything you could need or want in dining, entertainment, and retail, and of course it has Lincoln's best sports talk, proudly located in downtown Lincoln on the corner of 11th and O.
This message is brought to you by the Downtown Lincoln Association and 93.7 The Ticket.
Is your air conditioner ready for the hot weather ahead? Get it checked now before you really need it. Call Bryant now to schedule your spring air conditioning service check. No matter what brand equipment you have, Bryant's trained technicians will thoroughly clean, inspect, and test to make sure it's ready to cool efficiently when hot weather hits. Stay cool and comfortable with air conditioning services from Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. 467-1111 to schedule your AC check. Bryant, whatever it takes.
Now back to Real Talk with Rudy Gres IV on 93.7 The Ticket.
That is right. You are back here. I told you it was going to be a little shorter break. Hopefully you believe me. But, if you're not aware, I know we got listeners from all over. I know we got listeners from Nebraska and some from outside for sure. The weather's been kind of down in the dumps lately. I mean, it's a weird time right now where the weather's not sure what it's doing. You're either going to get that 80-degree beautiful sun's going to be out, or you're going to get rained on. And right now, I think the biggest talk of the town so far, at least in Lincoln, outside of, sports, is the Zach Bryan concert that happened last night. A lot of people aren't happy. And I mean, I'm going to close the first hour with this just on a shorter note here, but last night, the show was supposed to start around 7. We have the weather rolling in. They push it back an hour. And then it gets pushed back again. They're like, hey, we're going to wait for the storm to pass so we don't have to cancel anything. We're going to put it off. We're going to let y'all go. Just bear with us. So me and my guest went down. We went to the rail yard, whatever. We met some friends. Things are going good. We're waiting. The rain's still going. I'm freezing because whatever. And great, cool. Everyone's having a good time downtown. Everyone's just waiting for things to pass. And it passes. And then, of course, the gates are going to be open soon. We start heading to the stadium. May or may not have cut line. Anyways, and so they let us in. Doors open around 10. He doesn't start playing till around 10:45. Starts at 11 around or so, fully going. He performs from like 11 to 12:30. 11 to 1. Something like that. And he had a 32 songs track list. He played 26 songs. People are still upset. There's people right now online talking about asking for refunds, this and that. I think if you were there, it was one of the first concerts at Memorial Stadium in I don't know how long. I know years, I believe. Let's see. Memorial Stadium. Either way, it was an experience. And I don't think people understand just like, yeah, I understand. It's not, I don't even know. Like, it was fun. You're out there in the rain. You're singing along. You're with your people. You're doing things. You got some alcohol in that system going. And people are just upset. And I don't know. I mean, he plays Revival. The lightning's going. The storm's brewing in. I'm having the time of my life. People will find ways to be upset. I enjoyed it. I mean, I probably ruined one of my favorite T-shirts. It got soaked. But it is what it is. You live, you learn. It was a great night. I had fun. I know Nick Sainert of The Drive was there. I know some Husker sports reporters were there as well. So, I mean, everyone had a good time. And I think if you're mad at it and you're hating, it's just he probably didn't play one of the songs you wanted to hear, and it is what it is. Let's get over it. But with that being said, we might get into some Husker renovation talks here in the second hour. Definitely try to talk some more Husker sports here, Husker baseball, Husker softball. Talk a little bit more, I promise, about NBA. And we will get into some MLB talk. I know that's not the talk of the town here, but Mike Trout's playing baseball again. And I want to say during one of my rants a couple minutes ago, I think he went yard again. So we will get into more of that here on Real Talk with Rudy Gres the Fourth on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Nutrition Authority presents Fusion 30, an ultra premium protein ideal for anyone wanting to look, feel, and perform their best. Fusion 30 can only be found at Nutrition Authority. Stop in today for a free sample, visit with a certified nutritionist, and get better than internet pricing. For store info, visit mynutritionauthority.com.
Gentlemen, are you ready for something beyond the ordinary haircut? At Scissors and Scotch Lincoln, they blend your old school barber feel with your favorite watering hole. Sink into a comfy chair, unwind with a complimentary drink, and let their master barbers handle the rest. It's not just grooming, it's an experience. Whether you're prepping for a big meeting, needing to get cleaned up before family comes to town, or just need a little time to yourself, Scissors and Scotch Lincoln delivers sharp style every time. Book now at Scissors and Scotch in Lincoln, just south of 30th and Yankee Hill Road.
93.7 The Ticket is Lincoln's home for Kansas City Royals baseball in 2026. Catch all the action as Bobby Witt Jr., Salvador Perez, Vinny Pasquantino, and a pitching rotation led by Cole Reagans try to lead the Royals back to the postseason. That's Kansas City Royals baseball all summer long. On the air in Lincoln at 93.7 The Ticket.
If you want to make new floor shopping easier, come to O Street Carpet. Hi, I'm Steve Carper. Our flooring professionals can help you choose the best flooring for you, your family, and your budget. We eliminate the confusion. Even better, you'll be enjoying your new flooring much sooner. No 6 or 8 week waits. We'll install right away and save you money on installation. Floor shopping made easy every day at O Street Carpet.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
Hey everyone, this is Austin Orman from Old School with Foreman and Orman, live from 1040 O Street in the heart of downtown Lincoln, weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. My favorite thing about downtown Lincoln has to be the year-round energy. Downtown Lincoln never stops. It's easy to get to, has everything you could need or want in dining, entertainment, and retail, and of course it has Lincoln's best sports talk, proudly located in downtown Lincoln on the corner of 11th and O.
This message is brought to you by the Downtown Lincoln Association and 93.7 The Ticket.
Is your air conditioner ready for the hot weather ahead? Get it checked now before you really need it. Call Bryant now to schedule your spring air conditioning service check. No matter what brand equipment you have, Bryant's trained technicians will thoroughly clean, inspect, and test to make sure it's ready to cool efficiently when hot weather hits. Stay cool and comfortable with air conditioning services from Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. 467-1111 to schedule your AC check. Bryant, whatever it takes.
At DWE Generations, having a plan matters, especially when it comes to protecting what's most important. They work with individuals, families, and business owners to help make smart financial decisions that support life today and set the foundation for generations. David Darlington, Russell Walton, and Cody Eiler bring decades of experience, and their dedicated team provides follow-through, answering questions, explaining next steps, and staying connected as life evolves. DWE Generations, a generational wealth planning firm. DWE Generations is a marketing name for individuals doing business as representatives of Northwestern Mutual. Visit generations.nm.com or call 402-483-7871 and ask for David, Russell, or Cody.
Bauer Underground has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know that the best workers in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and a pedigree of success. They're offering top-notch benefits, a matching 401k, and a $600 per year clothing allowance. Bauer Underground, a family-friendly company with plenty of room for advancement. There are so many realtors in Lincoln and Omaha, but don't get overwhelmed by all the no-names, plus all the different companies. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group at Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Real Estate is your go-to option, whether buying or selling residential, luxury, leasing, investment properties, or commercial property, small or large. Ben's team offers decades of experience, unbeatable customer service, and promises to fully protect your interests throughout the entire transaction. Call 402-419-6309 for all your real estate needs. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group of BHHS Ambassador Real Estate.
In the Westby for Comeback Athlete of the Year is Rudy Gres.
How about that? 3 hits for Rudy Gres at DH.
The headlines, they can lie. The scoreboard, it can mislead. But Rudy, whether you like it or not, will keep it real. Get your dose of reality during Real Talk with Rudy Gres the 4th on 93.7 The Ticket.
Welcome back to hour 2 of Real Talk with Rudy Gres the 4th here. You're kind of stuck with me whether you want it or not. But big topic of discussion today has been the NFL draft. And for rightful reasons. I mean, it's what's one of the biggest days, one of the biggest time periods for us fans. But Diego Pavia, I think, is the story that he's the first Heisman finalist to go undrafted since 2014. I was 12. I was 12 years old the last time this happened. And again, like I said earlier, just pertaining to drafts in general, I never want these guys to do bad. I never want them to I don't enjoy it knowing as an athlete I don't know what that feels like, but I know that at some point that is not what's in the cards for you. You pitch yourself as who you are and you try to get drafted, and I understand that. But I also I don't know why he's not getting drafted. I mean, the size thing, yeah, sure. But that can't be it. Like, that can't be the only reason. Maybe it is. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm looking here. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure the way he handles himself as an athlete, similar to the Manziel. I'm not saying he's on the Manziel level necessarily per se, but you know how these owners, we saw with Shador for some reason. You know how these owners are. You know how this, that, and the third can go when your off the field things become your on the field things and affect your on the field things in terms of playing and drafting. Yeah, I mean, he's 5'10", 207. I mean, here on USA Today, it says, still, such a result wasn't a major surprise. Pavia had been widely expected to be a late day 3 pick at best because of the concerns about his size. He became the first Heisman Trophy finalist to not be chosen in the draft since Northern Illinois quarterback Jordan Lynch in 2014. And even more surprisingly, he was not scooped up as an undrafted free agent. He remained available in the hours after the final pick, and linebacker Red Murdoch was announced despite numerous signal callers inking post-draft deals. I mean, I'm not surprised. I want to say I am, but like, like we said from the start here, this was not a draft with quarterbacks just where you need these guys. You can afford to wait. I mean, Aller got drafted. I like that pickup. I want to say he went to the Steelers. And it's just I'm looking here, and there's a quarterbacks. This was, of course, at the beginning of the year, college football, and it says things can change a lot in a year. Let me read you the quarterbacks in the 2026 NFL mock draft according to Field Yates. Number 1 overall, Arch Manning. As a Longhorn fan, yeah. Lenora Sellers was supposed to be number 2 overall. He had Cade Klubnik going 3 overall, Sam Levitt going 9 overall, Drew Aller going 11th, and Garrett Nussmeier going 16th overall. So, like I said, the quarterbacks aren't what they needed to be this year. Some of those guys didn't even enter the draft. Sam Levitt, Arch Manning. I mean, like, the talent, I don't know if it's a quarterback thing. I don't know. I'm not taking Diego Pavia either. That's not a guy you take a flyer on and try to train him because he's not going to come in there with the willingness to change. And it's not an attack on him as who he is as a person necessarily, but like I spoke on earlier about the divas and the egos, you can be a good guy off the field. You can mean well. You can get your master's from Vanderbilt in the summer. I'm looking at people jaywalk right now across the street, but at the same time, who you are on the field, you have a persona when you're on the field. I do. I have a persona when I turn this camera and this mic on. I have a persona when I get in the batter's box. And as soon as I get out of it, I'm back to being a different person. And I think sometimes that's a good thing. And I think sometimes it translates a little too much. And I think that's his issue. Another question here on the YouTube text line. You think the Rams talked over drafting Simpson with McVay or just forced to pick on him? I followed up with, he looked disgusted talking to him on the phone. I think that is one of the most awkward things I've ever seen. Even with the first off, the presser they had afterwards, the draft, McVay is just staring daggers into the owner. And I don't know. I would like to hope that they talked to him. I would assume so. I mean, they told Stafford that day that they were drafting him, I think, if that's the report that I saw. And I mean, that's good. That's awesome. But I don't know. I mean, I feel like they might have talked about it for sure. But I think McVay seems like a guy who's not going to just, okay, yeah, cool. Like, I'm sure he did not want that at all. I mean, the phone call, too, when Ty Simpson tells him, we're going to make history, coach. He's like, yeah, no, enjoy your night. And it's like, and I know the yeah, no is just a regular response. But in the grand scheme of that phone call, knowing you're just, you changed, no matter who you draft, you change their life in a matter of seconds. And I think you know the moment, you'd be a little more excited for that guy if that is what you truly wanted to happen. But I don't think it was. I don't think he wanted that. I don't think they need that. I think they could have used some more pieces. I mean, they were a team last year with an MVP. And I don't know. He seemed very upset. At least disgusted, like you're saying, with that idea that they're taking him. And it doesn't, and there was a lot of just, not debates or anything, but the Jordan Love comparisons got brought up. Well, the Packers did this, maybe it'll work. And I think that's a great ideology. But I don't know. I think that's not what you do with the 13th pick. You don't do that for a guy that, again, like, and we said it here at the station the following days, that, well, there's not another good quarterback, and you kind of run that risk of having to wait, and then maybe you don't get a top quarterback next year. But even if you don't, like, I don't think Ty Simpson was worth taking that chance on. I think you wait. I think I'm not saying Drew Aller was going to be the guy, but I like Drew Aller. I think that's the guy you take in the 3rd round, 4th round, pick him up. I want to say it was a 3rd round pick, maybe a 2nd round. I could be completely wrong there, but that's the guy you get in the later rounds. And I think you work on it, you develop it. Like you're saying here, I'd be livid if I was McVay. Stafford's got 2 years left max. They need a win now piece. They could have taken a quarterback another year. I agree. And I think like I don't even think it's necessarily, like the quarterback draft itself. Because like I said, like if it's the Jordan Love situation, obviously it's working out right now. You're starting to see it a little more. I think this is up there with the Michael Penix pick. I don't think Penix was a good pick at that point. I don't even think in terms of, will they have Cousins? No, because I don't think Kirk Cousins was the answer. I think that was just a bad draft overall and a bad signing. But anyways, I agree. I think like that, you have an MVP winning quarterback on your team. Like you're saying, he can play for a couple more years. And the talks are they do want to extend him, I believe. I will search that up right now. And like you're a couple pieces away. And with the Puka situation, if you're not familiar with that, there's some off the field stuff going on there. I think you could have gone an offensive weapon here, like you're saying, a win now piece, and you would have been in a great situation. And right here, Matthew Stafford, Rams in deep discussions on contract extensions that would take care of him next season and beyond. They do believe there's a chance he plays beyond 2026. And I think, obviously, these are just me connecting dots I've been speaking on. I think Stafford is a careful quarterback, a precise quarterback, one that he can play for a couple more years. He's not you're not relying on the legs and they're gone. He's gone. You're not relying on the deep ball on him. He can get it down there. He can do the right things. He's at a better spot than Drew Brees was in the end of it and the tail end of it all. And I just don't know. The pick just doesn't make sense to me at all. That was an amazing phone call that they had. I'm sure things were better there, but it just doesn't make sense. And if I'm Ty Simpson, I'm sitting there. I don't think that I'm getting drafted anytime soon. I don't think that like AD said it this past week. You're probably ordering some food saying, yeah, we'll be here a little bit. We'll probably get taken later. I don't know. And apparently McVay cleaned up some of his reasonings why he said that. He said, why do you guys think I'm angry? And then he smiled. Said, I will say this, though. The one thing that would never be doubted is we couldn't be more lockstep in every decision that we make. I get my demeanor last night, and so we're excited about it. There's different things I think we always want to be mindful of, how things come off, things like that. Very excited about last night. Very excited about today. Couldn't be more excited about us continuing to lead together. Every decision that we make is a collective and collaborative. For any of the questions or misunderstandings based on my demeanor, I did want to get out of the way. This is my buddy right here. I don't know. I say what you want to say. Save face all you want. It wasn't just the presser. It was the phone call. It was the demeanor. Like you're saying, it's just, he said, they asked him why he was grumpy. He said it was because of other matters. And then he said that he looked grumpy because he didn't want to upset Matthew Stafford, basically. I think you're in a bad position if you're the Rams taking that pick. And it's not going to ruin your season. It's not going to make you worse. It's just not going to make you better off that pick right alone. I don't know. Ty Simpson's not that guy. He wasn't that guy in college necessarily. He was a safer quarterback than, I don't know, than Mendoza. But at the same time, it doesn't make sense. And I'm looking here, trying to find it. Right here. He only had 15 collegiate starts. Ty Simpson was a consensus 5-star recruit in the 2022 high school class, rated as the #1 quarterback in Tennessee and one of the top quarterbacks nationally. Despite only having 15 starts, among the fewest for a first-round pick, he maintained his high-rated pedigree, blah, 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 blah. I'm not taking a guy with 15 starts. This isn't the NBA. You don't just get that 1 year and boom. And yes, it happens. You have guys who just have that 1 year and go. I think it was a bad pick. I don't think there's many picks I say will be bad. I'm less bought in on this guy than I was J.J. McCarthy. And we know how 9 turned out. It is what it is. Also, I think the Spurs are on a run right now. Spurs are down 43-58. NBA playoffs are tipping off. I mean, the big talk for me right now, the big focus is Wemby. Victor Wembanyama. I think it's safe to say that well, right now they don't look much better with him. But I think the Spurs are playing good basketball again. It's not some secret. They were a top team in the West, top team in NBA. And right now, I think this is what the NBA needs. I think it's the same thing with baseball. When some teams are good, it makes it better. And I think with Victor Wembanyama and the San Antonio Spurs, they're up there. I think it's just fun to watch. Like I said, I know I said earlier that the NBA is getting to a boring point here. And at times it is. And don't get me wrong, it's not like the Spurs are doing anything outright, downright amazing in terms of, they're slamming dunks. They're just playing good basketball all over again. And it's great to see. And I think that's what the league needs. Of course, transitioning to some Husker stories here. Your Nebraska Cornhuskers, number 20th ranked in the country, of course, do end up taking the series from Illinois. Starting off that Friday night with a loss was not what kind of was expected, and didn't blind any, like it didn't come as just, oh my God, our season's over. It wasn't the upset of all upsets, but it was like, okay, let's bounce back. They're keeping the Lincoln Regional alive, which is great to see. Husker softball shut out Iowa on senior day here. And if you're not aware, Rhonda Breville, they are naming the field at Bowling Stadium after her, which is awesome. I mean, I was at the Husker softball presser this past Wednesday, I believe it was. And you could just tell how much not just being the coach of this team means necessarily, but kind of what it means to be a Husker to coach. And not just coach, but just people all around. I think people underestimate. She said it, I believe, yesterday too. She said, someone else in the team stated that I'm not from Nebraska, but I wish I was. Do I say that? Not necessarily. But I understand the sentiment, and I love that. I think for coaches to be this bought in is what is needed. I think she's been here for decades, and that's not anything that's wrong. But you kind of get to that point of your identity is the Huskers. And I don't think people understand what that means here. Last night, rainstorm and all at the Zach Bryan concert, you're having the Go Big Red chants just louder than ever, which is awesome. As much as I love my Longhorns, there's nothing like that in Austin, Texas. Yeah, you'll pack out DKR. Yeah, you'll pack it to the brim. Yeah, you'll win more games in Nebraska, but you won't win more heart than those guys. And I think that's the funniest part of it all. Nebraska is not good at football right now, and that's not some national secret. If you're watching this, if you watch sports, you know that. You know that there's nothing, not promising, but there's nothing that kind of gets you eager for the season, at least, in terms of what the expectations are. Yes, as a fan, you expect them to go out there and win, but we've done it before. We'll do it again. You got Indiana, Oregon, Washington, Illinois, Rutgers, and Ohio State all in back-to-back. Ohio State's coming here on my birthday, probably going to get tail kicked. You got Indiana coming October 10th. I don't even know if that's, it'll be a packed-out house. It'll be an expensive ticket to buy. I'd rather just watch that from home. I think college football right now is so fun, though, because never would I think that Indiana would be a scary team. Never that Illinois has been consistent for a couple years now. Never that I think that I'd be worried about them until overtime loss 2 years ago or last year, whatever it was, the year before. It's awesome. I think the state of college athletics is getting there to the point where it's becoming a national phenomenon again. And it always is. But I think in terms of widespread nationality, it is great. You have teams that are just competing because they're able to pay now, at least more and legally. And it's awesome. I think my Texas Longhorns are among the nation's top spenders. And I'm glad. And I think the Huskers are too. Not number 2, but I think they're up there as well. They're starting to get there. And with that being said, if you're unaware, to the Big Red rebuild that is going on at Memorial Stadium, you need to check that out. I mean, I'm looking at these. It's going to look like basically Nebraska Arrowhead, Lincoln Arrowhead, to an extent. They're raising, it is. If you think that Memorial Stadium on a fall Saturday is epic just as it is now and it's loud and you're scared to be an opponent there, I think with this renovation, I'd be terrified. I mean, on the timeline here, enabling work begins this summer. As of this December, they're going to demolish the South and West seating bowls. Next March, construction begins. Next spring, reduced capacity for the 2027 season, which, boo. 2027 fall, partial completion. 2028 spring, seat selection for the season begins. And by the fall of 2028, it will be done. I hope. I'm expecting. But I think like that is, I know some fans aren't not happy, but there's some questions to be asked, and that's great. I mean, you always want feedback. I just hope it doesn't take away from what Memorial Stadium is. I hope it doesn't make it too commercialized. I hope it doesn't make it too new, too updated. And it's not me saying that there's not an update that's needed to be made there, because the facilities aren't lacking, but I mean, you can kind of get the idea that you could put some more effort and money into this. And I think it's going to make it beautiful. I think the biggest downfall of it all that was announced that there's going to be no grass field, which bummer. But I mean, you'll take it. It is what it is. They did just get the new turf. I mean, okay. But I think as an opponent, I'd be terrified. I'm excited though. I mean, the Huskers they're making a push to be serious again. And I know I say this every time we get to the Huskers, but we'll see when that happens. We'll see when the wins translate. I mean, blackout jerseys, brand new stadium, podcast, recruits. And I'm big on some of our recruits coming in this year, next. I just don't know when that's going to translate to wins. I don't know how much more hype you can get the fans. I don't know how much more engaged you can get us. You can get the players. I don't know what more needs to be done. Because I've said it before and I'll say it again. I love the talent that gets brought in here, but I think at times it's not a talent issue. It's just it's not a coaching issue. It's not a talent issue. I don't know what the issue is necessarily on paper. But I just think you got to get dudes in here that want to win. And it's not that nobody on this roster wants to lose. It's just you have guys here that the bling, the blam, like, because let's be real. If you're coming to Lincoln, Nebraska to play collegiate football, you're either getting a pretty penny, you're either getting that playing time, or you're from Nebraska. Like, yeah, there's some guys that make the exceptions. Yeah, we get some 5-star talent in here, and that's not to boot. I just don't understand. Like, you're coming here to be a Husker. You're coming here for the legacy. You're coming here for the notoriety. Because win, lose, or draw, the Huskers will be talked about. The Huskers are always talked about. Right or wrong reasons, it's to be said. But you got to get guys in here that don't care about that. You got to get dogs in here. You got to get guys who are just willing to put it all on the line. You got to get guys who are just scrappy. And I think we, like with Raiola, and I know I can talk freely about that dude now because as he left, it kind of became very evident that not many fans here were thrilled about that, about him. And that's not an issue. I mean, I'm okay with that. I would have talked about him either way. But I do think that that's a guy that did it for the glitz and glam and, I'm QB1, I'm a 5-star, this and that. And I mean, he's gone. He went to a big look at me school in Oregon. And that's great. I just don't know why that is the sentiment here. And I'm not saying it is for everybody because there's not. There's guys that do want it just as bad. And there's guys that take serious pride in being Huskers. And I think a lot of them, I want to say every player on this team takes pride in being a Husker because you wouldn't be here if you weren't. Yes, the money. Yes, the NIL. Yes, this, that, and the third scholarships. Cool. But you wouldn't be here if you didn't want to. And I'm not saying we run into that issue. I just don't know how much more us fans can truly take of the smoke and mirrors. Oh, new renovations. Okay. Oh, new jerseys. Lost in those. Oh, but this. Oh, but the new facilities. Oh, but tune into house rules. And I'm tuning in. I'm listening, coach. But I want wins more. I don't care about your podcast. I don't care about the stadium. I don't care about a blackout jersey that I wasn't even able to buy because I just wasn't able to. They were available for sale. I just didn't buy one. I don't care about that because when it comes to it and it comes down to it, we lost that game. The hoopla, make sure you wear black. I was there in my black mock neck turtleneck. I was hyped up. I had some bruised booze and we lost. And that's the sentiment here. Bring it out. Pack the house. This, that. We got them coming to town. We got Indiana. We got Oregon. Oregon's not coming here, but we got Indiana. We got Ohio State, November 21st coming to town. Great. The only win I think that's been hyped up to me here that they delivered on was Colorado. And from my perspective, I thought that Colorado team was good, and I thought the win was good. But in the same script, everyone wants to tell me they suck. So was it a big win? I don't know. But Memorial Stadium's probably never been louder than that on the field in the last couple years. Maybe aside from the getting to that 6 bowl win or the 6 win for bowl eligibility, this team is promising so much and delivering so much of nothing. And they're not promising it in terms of, hey, buy in because we're gonna make the natty. It's just progression's there. Yeah. I'm not one to say that we're not getting better year by year on a technicality there. Went from 6-6 to 7-6 last year. But I don't know. Oh, great. It wasn't even had the same amount of wins last year as we did the year before. So really, that progression was only from 2023. 2023 was 5-7. Yeah. And progression is progression. Yes, we're going to win. Yes. Okay, cool. No ranked wins yet. Teams only looking. You're losing more pieces by the year. Obviously, that's how it goes. And you're not running out of time because you're bringing in recruits every year. But you don't have an Emmett Johnson next year. And it's not to say that our other running backs won't step up because Emmett stepped up this past year. I just don't know how much more we can take. And, of course, the support's never not going to be there. I think that's the problem. In the last couple seconds I have on this segment here, I think that's the problem. I'm not saying we need to boycott. I'm not saying we need to not go to games and ruin the sellout streak. But I think this program can get complacent at times, knowing that the support's there, the money's there, the fundraising's there, the hype's there, the talk's there. We're going to be talking about them every Saturday, win, lose, or draw, whether we go 0-12, 12-0. We're talking about them here at 93.7 The Ticket because that's what we do, because that's who we focus on, and that is we love the Huskers here. I just think we would love them more if we had some wins to back it off of and do more and be promised more and get us big wins here, winnable big wins. USC wasn't bulletproof. Like when we faced Utah in that bowl game, okay, I wasn't very excited in terms of what I thought could have happened. But, and I know Raiola got hurt, and I know we want to hate on that dude, but I think that made a difference because we competed with 21 Michigan. We competed with USC. We lost by 4. And then you go and, you lose to a Penn State without Franklin and Aller, and you get skunked 22-44 against Utah. It's going to happen. It's going to happen, I would hope. I hope the wins will translate. I hope I'm wrong at some point. But right now, I'm not. Right now, I think we're supporting the team that is not going to figure it out because, one, that schedule is crazy. And I know Rule wants to use the schedule as a recruiting tool in terms of, oh, look who we're playing. Look, we're playing. Coach, if I'm getting recruited to play baseball, let's say at Nebraska, and I know they're having a great year, and so this is just a hypothetical, even though we don't do those here. We're doing it right now. If they're, hey, Rudy, we played Texas, right? Coach, we've been swept the last 5 years. Hey, we played Georgia. Oh, we've gotten swept, though. Hey, playing Auburn, got swept, though. That's not what's happening. But those names can draw so much. Coach, Grambling State plays Ohio State. That ain't getting me to Grambling. Anyways, with that being said, we will be taking our first break of the second hour here. Stay with us here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. This is Real Talk with Rudy Gres IV.
Nutrition Authority presents Fusion 30, an ultra-premium protein ideal for anyone wanting to look, feel, and perform their best. Fusion 30 can only be found at Nutrition Authority. Stop in today for a free sample, visit with a certified nutritionist, and get better than internet pricing. For store info, visit mynutritionauthority.com.
Gentlemen, are you ready for something beyond the ordinary haircut? At Scissors and Scotch Lincoln, they blend your old-school barber feel with your favorite watering hole. Sink into a comfy chair, unwind with a complimentary drink, and let their master barbers handle the rest. It's not just grooming, it's an experience. Whether you're prepping for a big meeting, needing to get cleaned up before family comes to town, or just need a little time to yourself, Scissors and Scotch Lincoln delivers sharp style every time. Book now at Scissors and Scotch in Lincoln, just south of 30th and Yankee Hill Road.
93.7 The Ticket is Lincoln's home for Kansas City Royals baseball in 2026. Catch all the action as Bobby Witt Jr., Salvador Perez, Vinny Pasquantino, and a pitching rotation led by Cole Reagans try to lead the Royals back to the postseason. That's Kansas City Royals baseball all summer long. On the air in Lincoln at 93.7 The Ticket.
If you want to make new floor shopping easier, come to O Street Carpet. Hi, I'm Steve Carper. Our flooring professionals can help you choose the best flooring for you, your family, and your budget. We eliminate the confusion. Even better, you'll be enjoying your new flooring much sooner. No 6 or 8 week waits. We'll install right away and save you money on installation. Floor shopping made easy every day at O Street Carpet.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
Hey everyone, this is Austin Orman from Old School with Foreman and Orman, live from 1040 O Street in the heart of downtown Lincoln, weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. My favorite thing about downtown Lincoln has to be the year-round energy. Downtown Lincoln never stops. It's easy to get to, has everything you could need or want in dining, entertainment, and retail, and of course it has Lincoln's best sports talk, proudly located in downtown Lincoln on the corner of 11th and O.
This message is brought to you by the Downtown Lincoln Association and 93.7 The Ticket.
Is your air conditioner ready for the hot weather ahead? Get it checked now before you really need it. Call Bryant now to schedule your spring air conditioning service check. No matter what brand equipment you have, Bryant's trained technicians will thoroughly clean, inspect, and test to make sure it's ready to cool efficiently when hot weather hits. Stay cool and comfortable with air conditioning services from Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. 467-1111 to schedule your AC check. Bryant, whatever it takes.
At DWE Generations, having a plan matters, especially when it comes to protecting what's most important. They work with individuals, families, and business owners to help make smart financial decisions that support life today and set the foundation for generations. David Darlington, Russell Walton, and Cody Eiler bring decades of experience, and their dedicated team provides follow-through, answering questions, explaining next steps, and staying connected as life evolves. DWE Generations, a generational wealth planning firm. DWE Generations is a marketing name for individuals doing business as representatives of Northwestern Mutual. Visit generations.nm.com or call 402-483-7871 and ask for David, Russell, or Cody.
Bauer Underground has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know that the best workers in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and a pedigree of success. They're offering top-notch benefits, a matching 401k, and a $600 per year clothing allowance. Bauer Underground, a family-friendly company with plenty of room for advancement. There are so many realtors in Lincoln and Omaha, but don't get overwhelmed by all the no-names, plus all the different companies. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group at Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Real Estate is your go-to option, whether buying or selling residential, luxury, leasing, investment properties, or commercial property, small or large. Ben's team offers decades of experience, unbeatable customer service, and promises to fully protect your interests throughout the entire transaction. Call 402-419-6309 for all your real estate needs. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group of BHHS Ambassador Real Estate.
And the Westby for Comeback Athlete of the Year is Rudy Gres.
How about that? 3 hits for Rudy Gres at DH.
The headlines, they can lie. The scoreboard, it can mislead. But Rudy, whether you like it or not, will keep it real. Get your dose of reality during Real Talk with Rudy Gres IV on 93.7 The Ticket.
That is right. Welcome back to Real Talk with Rudy Gres IV here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. just keeping you updated on the game I'm following at least. San Antonio Spurs down by 1, 66-67. So hopefully they figure it out. But with that being said, I think something that I've been thinking about and something that's been on my mind a little bit this week, at least weekend. LeBron James. I know I mentioned him earlier, but it brought up a question for me. It brought up a thought. He's making so much money this year. Could have taken a pay cut. Yes. But someone told me, oh, that's what a guy making $60 million a year should do. And that's great. Yeah, I understand that sentiment. I understand that he should. And so I was kind of thinking, if I'm in the NBA, if I'm in the MLB, if I'm in any professional sport, would I be chasing money or legacy? And I think the obvious answer is going to be legacy. I mean, that's not a crazy thing. I don't think anyone's indifferent on that too much. But it's your job, and I think people need to understand that. I'd love to make a killing. Give me $60 million. I'll hit a game time shot in the fourth quarter. And that's all I really need. Because it's LeBron James. LeBron James poking that ball out, cross court, boom, here you go, pump fake right into it. I don't think people understand that. Like, LeBron might not be your GOAT. LeBron might be mine, and I understand it. Wemby might be in that conversation maybe in 5 years. Who knows? But Wemby right now is 12 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, 4 blocks. Okay. I think the state of the NBA is going in the right direction. Even with guys like LeBron who, like, all I hear is, oh, he's stat padding. All I see is a guy 41 years old, 40, whatever, 3-0 in the NBA playoffs first round. Playing with his son, yeah, okay. Like, if that's what keeps him going, keep his son on the court. There's Wemby's 5th block. Keep him on the court. I just think the NBA right now, whatever team you're a fan of, you feel like you have a shot to kind of just do it. I want to say the Trailblazers might have scored 11 points this quarter. But I don't know. I think sports as a whole are just doing so good. I think there's not much to be mad at unless you're a Toronto Blue Jays fan. And right now they're playing pretty bad. I think the state of baseball is in a good point. I think it's very national. There's Wemby's 6th block. I don't know. I think, like I mentioned earlier, Mike Trout. Let's pull up some of his stats very quickly. I mean, again, even with Mike Trout, he's tied for top 10 right now at 9th in the MLB. He had a home run against the Royals. That's awesome. Sorry, guys. He's at 8 home runs right now. He's batting .234, which, yeah, I mean, you want it to be better if it's Mike Trout, but he's also .951 OPS. Let's keep looking at some more of his season stats. 22 hits. I mean, he's walking 28 walks, 26 strikeouts, which isn't horrible. I mean, it's Mike Trout. I'm taking that every day of the year. I think Mike Trout is one of those guys that, yes, we know how amazing he was. And yes, we know that he was on a trajectory like none other. I just don't know. Wemby with a putback dunk. I just don't know that. I think the expectations for him at this point in his career are too high. I'm happy with a 234, maybe not happy with that alone. I'm happy with 234, 8 bombs, 951 OPS. I will take that every day. And for those who don't know what OPS is, on baseball slugging. And I'm taking that from Mike Trout. It's Mike Trout. If he's healthy, he's going to give you those 30 bombs a year. Is he going to be hitting the average like he used to be? Probably not. And that's okay. I think us in the sports world, whether that's media, whether that's fans, whether that's just the casuals, whether that whoever you may be, I think we hold these athletes to amazing standards because they deserve that and because it is what they have earned. I want my players to perform. I want Wemby doing this every night. I want Vladdy hitting 50 bombs. I want Bobby Witt stealing 80 bags. You want the best. You want the highest of hopes. You want Jaden Daniels to be healthy. You want Jackson Dart to be that guy. You want Pat Mahomes to win another ring. You wanted him to three-peat. You want the most from these athletes. And it's not me saying, oh, give them a pass. No. They deserve these expectations because that's who they are as athletes. I just think sometimes we're not realistic. Mike Trout, in his, what season are we in right now? Mike Trout at the age of 34, which isn't very old in MLB standards. I think we have too high of expectations for players like Mike Trout. And hold on. Not because of his talent, but because of the health injuries, because of what we're expecting. I think 8 home runs for Mike Trout is amazing. I think we all know he's not who he was even just, 6 years ago, 7 years ago? Like, we know he's not who he was. We know that he's at a different point in his career. We know this and that. But all I hear from the baseball team, mine, Nebraska Westlands, is, oh, well, he's betting this. Oh, wait. I will take the Mike Trout OPS numbers. I'll take the RBIs. I'll take the doubles. I'll take the walks. I'll take the home runs. Because it's Mike Trout. We know he's not going to be we know that he's not going to be the greatest player of all time anymore. He's not. I think we all know who that's reserved for, and we know who it's waiting for. Yeah, Vladimir Guerrero. No, Shohei Ohtani. Shohei Ohtani, that's the guy that I think we need the expectations for because, one, never seen it before. Two, he's the greatest player to ever touch a baseball field. And I think he needs the accolades a little bit more, not in terms of just what he hasn't done because he has the MVPs, he has the rings. I just think we need to see it a couple more years to be able to say, yeah, you're the guy. Because right now, if his season's over tomorrow, I think he still goes down in GOAT talks. But to be able to do it for more years, that'd be amazing. I think it would add on to the legacy of Shohei. Yeah, I think it does. I'm not a huge Shohei fan. I'm a big Shohei hater, actually, if you know me. And it has nothing to do with his talent. It has something to do with him not getting on that plane to Toronto and saying, you know what, I want to be a Blue Jay. Because why would you not want to be a Blue Jay? But whatever. I think in baseball, the best part about it is you can have a GOAT from kind of any time period, any frame. I know many people wanted to go Babe Ruth. I know many. I think Shohei deserves it. And I think it is Shohei's throne to take in the coming years. I don't think he's ever going to pass Barry Bonds for me. I don't think he's ever going to do that because you're not going to hit more home runs than my guy. But anyways, with that being said, I do want to dip into this briefly here and highlight the Husker tennis teams, men's and women's, on the season they've had. Although not the finish teams were kind of looking for, obviously, just in terms of the ending of tournament runs. The Husker men's take a loss to the Ohio State Buckeyes in the quarterfinals, took down Michigan in the opening round, but then got skunked 4-0. And that is, again, like I said, not the outcome you ever look for at all, just because you want to win every time you're out in the courts. But I don't think that's anything to discredit this team at all. In the season they've had, I mean, they were 12-14. I know that, again, that on paper that's not over the threshold, but to compete at this team's level, and I think people also underestimate just how good the Big Ten is in tennis. Because if we just look at the schedule here, once Big Ten play starts, take the loss to Michigan State on the road, and then you have Michigan Wolverines, ranked 52nd, followed up by Illinois, ranked 9th, followed up by Northwestern, ranked 44th, followed up by South Carolina, ranked 31st, followed up by UCLA, 24th, Oregon at 46, Wisconsin at 36, Indiana at 64, and then Ohio State ranked 2nd. And then the Big Ten tournament starts. You take down Michigan at 39, and then, of course, drop the loss to Ohio State. And I don't think people understand that, like I said, the Big Ten is just known for so many things now. And the attention for tennis kind of drops. Just, I think, as a country, who we are. And I think that's kind of why you see how many, I spoke on it when Katie Spencer joined the show, just how many foreign athletes are playing tennis here in the States. And I think that's kind of not the problem, because you understand it as the country you live in, that is, you're attracted to more of the sports you focus on already. And that's okay, and that's great. But I think, too, like, the notoriety of what these teams are doing needs to be spoken on a little bit more, as we spoke for. Women's tennis also dropped their opening round Big Ten tournament loss to Illinois. Again, they had a great season lined up here. I mean, 625 win percentage, 15-9 on the year. Conference 7-6. I apologize. We'll get into some of their games and matches here. Took down ranked Washington, took down ranked Oregon back-to-back weeks. take the loss to Ohio State, ranked third, beat Penn State, beat Creighton, beat Iowa, lost to Wisconsin, lost to Minnesota, and then, of course, eventually lost to Illinois on the road, or at the Big Ten tournament. I apologize. I just think it's, of course, what will be remembered and what will be looked at if you go to this website, if you go to their schedule, and you go to the stats. Yes, it is the losses. Yes, it is what the end of the season on. Yes, the recap will tell you their season's over in the quarterfinals and the opening round. Yes, yes. But I think, like I've said right now, the Husker tennis team is not one that is with recognition that is deserved, I think. Of course, we will tell you that for rightful reasons. I think the talent is there. I think for a team so young with one senior leaving the squad this year, for the women's side at least, this is a team that's only going to get better, a team that's only going to grow, and a team that's going to get stronger. One of the key pieces, of course, Katie Spencer, extremely strong as an athlete, followed up by Conley Ray, and then followed up by, of course, Ray Aliko. These girls are only going to get better. And if you keep it tuned here to 93.7 The Ticket, of course, with Real Talk with Rudy Gres IV, we will be getting these athletes on at some point, and we will be just highlighting more of what this season has become and what the season is going to become for these girls. With that being said, we will be taking our last and final break here on 93.7 The Ticket. Keep it tuned right here. This is Real Talk with Rudy Gres IV. I'll say it again. Keep it tuned right here, 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Nutrition Authority presents Fusion 30, an ultra-premium protein ideal for anyone wanting to look, feel, and perform their best. Fusion 30 can only be found at Nutrition Authority. Stop in today for a free sample, visit with a certified nutritionist, and get better than internet pricing. For store info, visit mynutritionauthority.com.
Gentlemen, are you ready for something beyond the ordinary haircut? At Scissors and Scotch Lincoln, they blend your old school barber feel with your favorite watering hole. Sink into a comfy chair, unwind with a complimentary drink, and let their master barbers handle the rest. It's not just grooming, it's an experience. Whether you're prepping for a big meeting, needing to get cleaned up before family comes to town, or just need a little time to yourself, Scissors and Scotch Lincoln delivers sharp style every time. Book now at Scissors and Scotch in Lincoln, just south of 30th and Yankee Hill Road.
93.7 The Ticket is Lincoln's home for Kansas City Royals baseball in 2026. Catch all the action as Bobby Witt Jr., Salvador Perez, Vinny Pasquantino, and a pitching rotation led by Cole Reagans try to lead the Royals back to the postseason. That's Kansas City Royals baseball all summer long. On the air in Lincoln at 93.7 The Ticket.
If you want to make new floor shopping easier, come to O Street Carpet. Hi, I'm Steve Carper. Our flooring professionals can help you choose the best flooring for you, your family, and your budget. We eliminate the confusion. Even better, you'll be enjoying your new flooring much sooner. No 6 or 8 week waits. We'll install right away and save you money on installation. Floor shopping made easy every day at O Street Carpet.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
Hey everyone, this is Austin Orman from Old School with Foreman and Orman, live from 1040 O Street in the heart of downtown Lincoln, weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. My favorite thing about downtown Lincoln has to be the year-round energy. Downtown Lincoln never stops. It's easy to get to, has everything you could need or want in dining, entertainment, and retail, and of course it has Lincoln's best sports talk, proudly located in downtown Lincoln on the corner of 11th and O.
This message is brought to you by the Downtown Lincoln Association and 93.7 The Ticket.
Is your air conditioner ready for the hot weather ahead? Get it checked now before you really need it. Call Bryant now to schedule your spring air conditioning service check. No matter what brand equipment you have, Bryant's trained technicians will thoroughly clean, inspect, and test to make sure it's ready to cool efficiently when hot weather hits. Stay cool and comfortable with air conditioning services from Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. 467-1111 to schedule your AC check. Bryant, whatever it takes.
At DWE Generations, having a plan matters, especially when it comes to protecting what's most important. They work with individuals, families, and business owners to help make smart financial decisions that support life today and set the foundation for generations. David Darlington, Russell Walton, and Cody Eiler bring decades of experience, and their dedicated team provides follow-through, answering questions, explaining next steps, and staying connected as life evolves. DWE Generations, a generational wealth planning firm. DWE Generations is a marketing name for individuals doing business as representatives of Northwestern Mutual. Visit generations.nm.com or call 402-483-7871 and ask for David, Russell, or Cody.
Bauer Underground has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know that the best workers in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and a pedigree of success. They're offering top-notch benefits, a matching 401k, and a $600 per year clothing allowance. Bauer Underground, a family-friendly company with plenty of room for advancement. There are so many realtors in Lincoln and Omaha, but don't get overwhelmed by all the no-names, plus all the different companies. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group at Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Real Estate is your go-to option, whether buying or selling residential, luxury, leasing, investment properties, or commercial property, small or large. Ben's team offers decades of experience, unbeatable customer service, and promises to fully protect your interests throughout the entire transaction. Call 402-419-6309 for all your real estate needs. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group of BHHS Ambassador Real Estate.
In the West Beach for Comeback Athlete of the Year is Rudy Gres.
How about that? 3 hits for Rudy Gres at DH.
The headlines, they can lie. The scoreboard, it can mislead. But Rudy, whether you like it or not, will keep it real. Get your dose of reality during Real Talk with Rudy Gres the Fourth on 93.7 The Ticket.
That is right. Welcome back to our last and final segment here on Real Talk with Rudy Gres the Fourth on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Spoke on it earlier at the beginning of the show, just super briefly, just about kind of us at Westland Baseball, how that's been going, me personally, and then, of course, with school going on. Sorry. And I just wanted to touch on that super briefly before we got out of here, before the rain has just stopped. Going to go enjoy some of this weather. Might take Dorado to the dog park. Who knows? But just wanted to say I think baseball is going. It's going. We're at a tough predicament right now. Got to sweep out this weekend and keep our season alive, which this team is capable of doing. It's just a matter of, like we've said in our group chats and our text messages from Coach, that it's got to be wanted to be done is all. And I think we're at a point in our season where we understand that we have to buy in, and we've been doing so. We had a tough weekend this last weekend, and it is what it is. I mean, to be expected to win every game is not ever going to be anything we are doing. But I also think for a team as talented as ours and a team as young as ours, we also have to just kind of band together and understand that. But I think we're at a good point to where we can buy in for 3 more games and put it together. It is senior night next Saturday. I will be, if our season were not to be extended to the postseason, we'll be in my last ever baseball game next Saturday. And that is probably something I haven't really not understood, because obviously I know it's coming. But I think it's something that probably won't hit me yet until maybe I'm walking out. Maybe I'm taking my cleats off. Maybe I'm turning my jerseys in. It'll hit me at some point. But until then, I'm trying to enjoy it. I mean, at least as much as I can. Obviously not the season expected or wanted, but you gotta go with the highs and the lows and keep it moving. I mean, there is more to life than baseball, believe it or not. But graduating in 2 Saturdays, and then just kind of just excited to see what happens after and see where we end up. But with that being said, did want to end this with some thanks and shout outs. Big shout out to everybody that tuned in, all the family members, all the cousins. I mean, all my friends, everybody from everywhere that is supporting as usual. I does not go unnoticed. And I think that is a huge part of just kind of what I've learned here being at Westland, being in Lincoln, Nebraska. You understand people want to see you win. And I mean, I've always understood that. I think I'm someone that people do, what's the word? Kind of band around, and I'm cool with that, and I love that. But there's a lot going on in these times. I mean, just in terms of what I'm experiencing at school, just stuff like that, kind of prepping for the end of it all. And I'm excited. It's hard to not be. It's hard to kind of not be excited for what is coming next. But it is what it is. I think it's a good point to kind of end on here. Of course, you'll be stuck with me next Sunday too, believe it or not. They're giving me more airtime. But with that being said, this was Real Talk with Rudy Gres the fourth here on 93.7 The Ticket. Make sure to tune in next Sunday. Also keep it tuned here for more of our shows tonight on Sunday. But yeah, this was Real Talk with Rudy Gres the fourth. Keep it tuned here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Nutrition Authority presents Fusion 30, an ultra premium protein ideal for anyone wanting to look, feel, and perform their best. Fusion 30 can only be found at Nutrition Authority. Stop in today for a free sample, visit with a certified nutritionist, and get better than internet pricing. For store info, visit mynutritionauthority.com.
Gentlemen, are you ready for something beyond the ordinary haircut? At Scissors and Scotch Lincoln, they blend your old school barber feel with your favorite watering hole. Sink into a comfy chair, unwind with a complimentary drink, and let their master